Hi, welcome to Mod Podge with Cathie and Steve. I'm Cathie Fillion.
And I'm Steve Piacenza. And today we are making over a party cooler. Now we're going to be using fabric Mod Podge and dishwasher safe Mod Podge for this project.
We're going to use a lot of cute papers and some fabric. Today's design theme is going to be a little bit beachy and a little bit preppy.
Yeah, now these coolers are really fun to make and they're really easy to make using Mod Podge.
A lot of people paint their coolers, but today we're going to show you how to make this cooler over not using any paint at all, just using the papers, fabrics, and Mod Podge.
Now these coolers are great for college students, they're great for family picnics, they're great for tailgating.
If your kids have a cheer club or soccer game or baseball team, whatever, you can make this over any different way you want, just by choosing different colored papers, logos, you could do monograms, it's endless.
And they look so much cooler than just the plain old coolers.
Yes, this is how you'll be the super hit mom.
So let's do it. So the first thing we want to do in preparation for our cooler is the spackling because there is dry time. Now I like to use this lightweight kind of fast drying spackle because we don't like to waste any time. And what we're doing is we're filling in these areas. Now most of these coolers have these logos, so there's these indentations, there's highs and there's lows, and if you're Mod Podging on top of that, it doesn't work very well. So we want to fill that in, let it dry, and then sand it smooth. And if you're painting your cooler, you kind of want to do the same process. So it's as simple as getting your spackle on top of your spackle knife, and then just going directly on top of these areas. Now every cooler is different, so this one only has this one area, but other coolers might have more. So you want to just completely fill in the areas, and it's as simple as that. And there we go. That looks pretty good. It's completely filled in, so now we're gonna let that dry, and once it's dry, we're gonna sand it completely smooth. The reason why we do that first is because there is dry time. So you can keep prepping your cooler while that's drying, and Cathie's gonna show you how to do some cutouts.
So while our spackle's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and prep all the papers for the top and bottom of the cooler. And what you're gonna wanna do first is create some paper templates. I've gone ahead on the top here and created these. You're gonna wanna make these for any of the indentation areas. Like on the front here, we'll make a big template for there. On these side parts or where you have handles, any places where indentation happens, you're gonna wanna make a template, and then you'll cut the template out of your decorative paper. We're also going to add a monogram to the very top. And like I showed you before, I've got my letters and I'm gonna cut those out of my decorative paper. And I have my bow tie punch. We're gonna do bow ties all the way around there. So let's start cutting up this paper. This is my top side template. And I'm just gonna make a pencil mark and I'm gonna cut this out twice. So now this is my back template, and I'm gonna just cut it out the same way. For my letters, I like to just go ahead and cut off the tops there. That way if you're working with a patterned paper, you can line it up exactly where you want it. You can see. Just tape that down. So then you'll just come in and you'll start cutting along the line using a craft knife. Okay, I've got my monogram finished. Let's pull that up and see how I did. You could also cut these letters out of scissors. I love this bow tie here, super simple. You're just gonna go in. I like doing it on the back side so I can get a little visual. Punch. And I'm gonna be using the bow tie and the little piece of the bow tie. And I've punched them out in lots of different colors. And all that's gonna go around the rim. So I've got all of the parts cut out for the top of the cooler, and I'm just gonna repeat the same process for the base of the cooler. One of the things that we're adding to the base of the cooler is this really fun seahorse fabric. I'm just gonna cut these out, and those are gonna go on all of our edges so that we have a corner detail.
Now that our spackle is completely dry, we're ready for sanding. So I'm using a sand sponge, but you can also use just a regular piece of sandpaper. We're just gonna go on top of it and get all those ridges out. Okay, that feels great. Nice and smooth, no ridges. And now we're just gonna wipe it off with a damp cloth. So here's our piece of paper that Cathie prepped out. It's gonna go right in this area. Look at how beautifully that fits. But what's missing now is some Mod Podge, so let's get to it. So the next step is to add Mod Podge to the back of your paper. So we want to put on a nice amount of dishwasher safe Mod Podge across your whole entire piece of paper. Now remember, you want to make sure you get all the corners and all the edges to make sure it sticks to our cooler. Once the back of your piece of paper has a nice thick coat of Mod Podge, you want to add a coat of Mod Podge to your cooler. And now I'm going to add the paper right on top of our cooler. Now if there's any wrinkles or bubbles inside your paper, you want to rub those out just with your fingers. And I'm going to add another coat of Mod Podge right on top of this to seal it. I think that's looking really, really good. I think we're ready to move on to the next step, and that's the top of this cooler. And Cathie's going to show you how to do that.
So we got our foundation pieces down on the front. We've got our green here and our pink, and we're gonna layer pieces over them. But before you layer up the paper pieces, you wanna make sure that you let this dry about 20 minutes in between the layers. So while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and add all the design elements to the top. I love how all the bow ties turned out, and it was so easy using the punch to create them.
It's looking fantastic. We're gonna be switching up formulas now using fabric Mod Podge because we're gonna be applying our seahorses, and our seahorses are fabric. So let's do it. Here you go.
Thank you.
Ready?
So our party cooler is all finished and we're ready to hit up the park. But before we do, we want to share with you the last step, the most important step.
What we've done is we have top coated our cooler with dishwasher safe Mod Podge. And the reason for that is because it's going to protect the whole cooler from all the elements. We've done it 3 different times with dry time in between.
So thanks for joining us, and we hope that we've inspired you to make over one of your coolers. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and give us a thumbs up if you want to see more Mod Podge videos.
Time for the beach.
I thought we were going to the park.
We're going to the beach.
Park?
Beach.
Malibu?